everyone, Lily here, and today I want to take a look at the mall revamp that I recently completed. This was a map that I've had issue with for a while in certain areas, and so I figured, why not just revamp it myself instead of waiting for someone else to do it? I'm not the best builder or I guess map maker, but I feel like I achieved what goal I wanted, and in this video I'm just going to show you a little bit, well, the whole revamp of what I did and why I changed it. So starting off here with the parking garage, if you've played mall, you see that no one goes here, and if someone does, it's like not really much of anything, any combat over here, anything like that. You know, if we take a look, you're not seeing much of the map. You have the window view and then part of the roof view, but it's really not that great. So I decided to just remove access. There's a pretty hefty invisible block there, and then I also just removed some more parts in here for the sake of part count, and I'll probably do that again after I go through it a bit more. Because this is an outdated version of the map that I began construction on, there are a lot of weird things about it with part count and some of the way that things are built. So yeah, I don't even think that it's that old, but then again, this map has not been updated for what seems like years at least. So yeah, parking garage no longer accessible. I don't think it will impact the gameplay very much. As you can see, there's a hole in the wall now, up here by the ghost spawn, I believe. And I also moved this ladder over to this side because, at least from the other side of the map, you could see people going up the ladder. Like, it was really weird sight lines. So with that, I moved the ladder over to the other side, and this wooden bit here, this centerpiece extended out a little bit. I just pushed that back because it looked weird. And then, yeah, some crates up to get into this part. And yeah, I felt like climbing up this ladder sometimes, you were just instantly met with combat. And I didn't really like that. So I decided to add a hole in the wall where you can get up to the roof just the same way with more security, basically. So going up here, as you've probably already seen and maybe taken notice of, the white paneling, the support structure for it has been flipped to the other side. This is because I really just did not enjoy moving around the map. Movement around this map has been one of the issues I've had for so long, because on top of just getting flung randomly, it's not enjoyable to move around the map as a player. And so I did my best to try and hopefully fix some of that, and that came from flipping these over, because as you're walking on this here, there's very limited space when this part is flipped around the way that it originally is. So with that, it's on the other side now. It makes more sense because there's more space over here. And then with this long sightline, I added in these two barriers, and the sightline is still pretty big here. So I think I might add a crate or something like right here just to control that a little bit more. On the roof, I also have a forklift added in for a little bit more cover. Nothing too big. This whole area over here is not really affected, although I did put some paint cans in the corner there. So let's take a look at the rest of the roof. This is some pretty drastic changes, I would say. The vent collapses into here, where you can go into there now. This was something that I saw Wolf Dogs do on his mall revamp, I guess, for the Halloween update, and I really liked it, so I figured I would throw that into my own revamp because it just makes sense for navigation on the map. And with the Phantom side, which is the side over here, it feels like it's really easy to shut them out with the way the map currently is, and I think only having scaffolding and a ladder to go up normally really contributes to that. And so along with the sight lines and just being able to like shoot people as they come under the white paneling, it's pretty easy to shut them out. And I find that more often than not, if spawn killing is happening on this map, it is happening against the Phantom side. So there's also a crate here. These shipping containers have been shifted a little bit, same with this one and this barrier. I added in a new shipping crate, and what this does is that while it doesn't block off all of the white paneling areas, it still helps enough that, like, if you're coming up from the scaffolding and you drop under here and you enter in, you have some reasonable expectation of safety from some of these sight lines, and it gives you I guess, more of an expectation for when you're coming up to this map where you could be getting shot from. Whereas, like, originally, I could be getting shot from the roof, I could be getting shot from the other things in front of me, all over the place. So I think that this just helps limit the ways that you can be preyed upon and just make it a more fair fight, basically. And I forgot what I was going to say. Oh well, I also added in this fourth little AC thing here. There's a ladder up to it, and this is kind of to help counter snipe. The thing with the roof is, right, that this is the highest point on the map, really, where you're not going to access the crane. So this rooftop is the highest point of accessibility, and the sightline is really strong, and there's not much to counter that. So hopefully by adding more area in, it can help to fight against that. This blue container should help to block the sightline from all of the roof, so you can kind of fight this here and then drop down and shoot up here if you need to, if there are just so many enemies up there. And then in this area as well, the vent falls down into here as well. And let me just change the lighting real quick to compatibility so you can see. Originally in this room there was the elevator. I don't know why it ever existed. It didn't make sense. It kind of dropped down into here and even lower. There's the remnants of it. I didn't clean up very well. This is just what I left over. And when you would fall into here, you had to super jump to get back out of it. And for players who maybe don't know to do that, that can be a little bit jarring, and they don't know how to get out. And that happened to me years ago. And so I'm glad that I removed that. And yeah, so again, navigation around the map makes it easier. You just pop out of here and you can continue along here, or you can pop up here and snipe. This is definitely more CQC oriented, I would say, and I'm fine with that because Mall is generally a map that I would play CQC on. It's a map that I think, because it doesn't offer the greatest range combat, I do tend to go CQC on anyways. And then going back to the outside here, I kept this ladder here, but I also added one over here for just more protection going up, because just as you can see the sightline over, like the ladder from over there on the original map, you can see this one too. And so there's been many times where going up this one especially, I've been shot, and so it would just be nice to have another route up that isn't completely over where the scaffolding is. I might even remove this, but I just decided to keep it. And then this is just an empty lot. There was a structure over here that looked like it was a bank. There was like a vault in it, and I don't know, I just tore that down. I said, let's get rid of it because it didn't make any sense to keep around. And so swinging over here, the windows are all redone because the old elevator shaft used to block off a considerable portion of this with just concrete. Now there are more windows to shoot, and you have a great view of the vents. And then over here, I added a hole in the wall because I don't always like to go straight to the roof going up this scaffolding here. And so I need to remove this actually. And so this is something that Wolf Dogs also did that I decided to throw into my own map as well because I like that idea. You could really get through this window, and then this one was kind of wonky with the bar for the scaffolding here. So I did away with that. I don't think it takes away too much from it, but yeah, we now have a nice little hole in the wall to get to and access that second floor better. Not much has really changed with the first floor, but that's fine. It's not used as much. I think with the second floor, as long with the roof, those are the most used. And then over here is where some more drastic changes are. All the billboards are blank. I took that off. And then I had some scaffolding here over the movie theater, and it's kind of like this has fallen over and there's some rubble here at the bottom. Some scaffolding is up though, and a blank billboard. And that was to block off the sight line from this area along with this area, because you could peer straight down into the pathway that you would be walking here along here. If you were to spawn, say, over here and start walking, you could get shot from the roof. And you still can if you swing wide enough or from a certain angle you can, but there's just more protection there. And I added some more cover as well with the barriers and a forklift and some crates. So because I know that there's spawns over here as well as over there, so just moving around that is better, and there isn't such a dominant sight line where you can just get nabbed from one area. Of course, as you go up in the scaffolding, you expose yourself more, but that is to be expected. There are more safe routes to take if you don't want to be exposed. And yeah, this is a pretty drastic change. This is the one that I could see probably causing the most issue and maybe being the most experimental. And I did move the hill back along with, I think this is the A capture flare, and because it was like right in here, and that just felt a little too close to the scaffolding, and so I just moved it into here. And I replaced these barriers as well, and I tried to keep the sightlines, so from these little red rooms over here you can shoot onto the hill on the original mall, and so I tried to keep that. You can still see how you might see an enemy or something like that, so that's all there. And then of course the sightlines here, you can still attack the hill. It's kind of the same thing. Bottom area not really changed, like I said. And yeah, I think that sums up all of what I did for this revamp here. It's nothing too crazy, but it just makes me feel better. If this were to be added, I think I would much enjoy moving around the map more so than I currently do, because like I said, with this little stuff here and then getting shut out, it's not really fun. I also added more openings on the paneling here so that you're not just limited to crawling under. You have more of a opening to go through, because when you crawl under, you just make yourself so vulnerable because you move slowly and you're easier to shoot at, easier to get a headshot on, especially if you're sniping. Like, people going prone are the easiest people to snipe. And so with that, like, I know that people might not necessarily enjoy having limited sniping from this roof, but at the same time, it was super easy to shut out the phantom side here. So I hope that, you know, theoretically, this would help that from not happening and just help people move around the map better. Of course, with bad team composition and bad team balance, the map can still be broken, there can still be spawn killing, but hopefully on a balanced version, this works okay. What I didn't achieve with this map was updating the crane, because I have the means to, but honestly, kind of daunting to do that, just replace the whole crane. I'll probably attempt to do that, but I'm not so psyched about doing that. I will probably hand this map over to Wolf Dogs and let him tweak it up or adopt my changes into an updated version of the map. And then I didn't really do much to combat the flinging issue that we have on this map. Of course, if you've played it, you know that walking on around the air vents, you can just get flung for some reason. I don't really know why, it just happens. And I don't think that there's anything I can really do about that. I think that's just an issue with Roblox physics, if I'm being honest. So yeah, couldn't do anything about that, but oh well. I cleaned up this area a little bit as well. There used to be like this thin white like wiring going across here. I said no, like that's too stupid to move. It doesn't make sense to have. It just is obstructive of movement. So I removed that. And this gaping hole used to be wider. I closed it off a bit so that traveling around here is still nice. And then I know people like to trick shot off of this area here from either side. And so you can still do that. And the billboard is thin enough so that you can wall bang it. See how thin that is? Yeah, you can wall bang that. So yeah, that's my mall revamp. I would be curious to get your thoughts on it. My work here is fairly sloppy if you really go and look at some of the parts around the breakage in the roof and some of that, but I don't know, I just got done what I felt the map needed, and hopefully the map can get updated soon. I'm passing this down to Wolf Dogs as well, so hopefully with our combined minds we can revamp this a little bit better and create a better experience on this map for the players. There isn't a ton of changes, but it's just quality of life changes that I think needed to happen. I also added some cover here as well. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, that's my mall revamp. Please let me know what you think about it. Would you enjoy seeing this change in the main game? Let me know in the comments what you think. That's all I've got for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.